Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari. Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 13. The chapter is entitled The Behavior of a Perfect Person. And we're on text number 15. Tamnat vabhyacha vyarja vidhivat. Tamnat vabhyarcha vidhivat. Tamnat vabhyarcha vidhivat. Pada yoha simsa sprisan. Padoyo shrisa sparshan. Vivitsur idam aprakshin. Vivitsur idam aprakshin. Mahabhagavato suraha. Mahabhagavato suraha. Tamnat vabhyarcha vidhivat. Padayaha Shirasha, Spirsha, Vivitsur idam aparakshin, Mahabhagavato suraha. Please. Ladies. Tam him, the saintly person. Natva, after offering obeisances unto. Abhyarcha, and worshiping. Vidhivat, in terms of the rules and regulations of etiquette. Padayaha, the lotus feet of the saintly person. Sirasa, with the head. Spirshan, touching. Vivitsaha, desiring to know about him, the saintly person. Idam, the following words. Aprakshit, inquired. Mahabhagavata, the very advanced devotee of the Lord. Asuraha, although born in an Asura family. Translation, we'll read 2 verses and 1 purport. Translation and purports by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The advanced devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, duly worshipped and offered obeisances to the saintly person who had adopted a python's means of livelihood. After thus worshipping the saintly person and touching his own head to the saint's lotus feet, Prahlad Maharaj, in order to understand him, inquired very submissively as follows. Seeing the saintly person to be quite fat, Prahlad Maharaj said, "My dear sir, you undergo no endeavor to earn your livelihood, but you have a stout body, exactly like that of a materialistic enjoyer. I know that if one is very rich and has nothing to do, he becomes extremely fat by eating and sleeping and performing no work." Am I supposed to read the next one? No, I'll read the purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur did not like his disciples to become very fat in the course of time. He would become very anxious upon seeing his fat disciples becoming bogies or enjoyers of the senses. This attitude is herewith confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj, who was surprised to see a saintly person adopting ajagara vritti and becoming very fat. In the material world also, we generally see that when a man who is poor and skinny gradually endeavors to earn money through business or some other means, and he then gets the money, he enjoys the senses to his satisfaction. By enjoying the senses, one becomes fat. Therefore, in spiritual advancement, becoming fat is not at all satisfactory. Okay. I'll just start there. 𝐒𝐫𝐢𝐚𝐵 𝗫𝐺𝑛𝑎 𝗠𝘁 Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. My dear Srila Prabhupada, I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and you are continually opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge, of your knowledge and your blessings. I offer my respectful obeisances to you again and again. Namo 𝗦𝘂𝐿𝐵𝐼𝐻 Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Deshatarne. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dear Srila Prabhupada, you are with us here in the temple. Please be with us in this class. Please shine your light of wisdom upon all of us so that we may more deeply understand what you want to give to us. Dear Lord Krishna, what do we know? You are the all-knower. Please reveal to us what is the next thing we need to know in order to serve you. Hare Krishna. So this is an interesting part of the Bhagavatam, understanding the behavior of a saintly person. And here we have this scenario of a saintly person taking on the position of a python, just lying in the dirt and waiting for whatever comes. And Prahlad Maharaj, interestingly enough, another saintly person who was born in the family of the Asuras. What do we know who's saintly or who's not saintly, right? In fact, didn't the Brahmanas want to kill Prahlad when he was in the womb? They wanted to kill him because we don't want another Asura born. And luckily they were stopped. No, this is a saintly person. Please don't kill him. So we do need to continue to be very careful about our judgments. If we judge Prahlad Maharaj being born in an Asuric family to be an Asura, we could very well commit a misunderstanding, and our judgment would really hinder our advancement. So here we have this Python man, I'll call him, saintly man, and Prahlad Maharaj is a little confused, which just goes to show that even saintly persons can be inquisitive and curious and want to know more. Like, I'm seeing you here, and you're lying here like a python, but you seem to be becoming stout. How is that happening? What's that about? And then in the purport, Prabhupada explains about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, not wanting his disciples to become fat. And it's interesting because, within the Krishna consciousness movement, we're about performing austerities of the wealth of the Brahman. And sometimes we take on more than we can really handle, and we pressurize ourselves and one another to do more, and it stresses us. It puts stress on our body and on our mind and on our nervous system, because we're jiva tattva, and each of us are individual and different, and we can really only do so much. And so we get stressed. And especially Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had an ashram of brahmacharis, and in an ashram, a brahmachari ashram, really, well, what is sense gratification? Sometimes if we perform too many austerities and we push ourselves too hard, we're not keeping a balance of what we can really do and what we can't do, and we become desperate for some sense gratification. And within Krishna consciousness, the bona fide legal sense gratification is taking prasadam, right? We're allowed to take prasadam to our full satisfaction. And so sometimes this is a way and a means to try to balance out taking on too many austerities that we really can't handle, and so we get stressed. And to numb that stress and numb that pain of that stress, we eat more than necessary. And also, in the purport, Prabhupada talks about a poor man, and when a poor man is skinny and then he gets some business and makes some money, he starts to eat more. And this represents the scarcity mentality, the starving mentality, that someone who has a scarcity mentality, there's not enough, there's not enough, there's not enough, there's not enough. They want to take more and more and more to try to satisfy that inner hole. Fortunately, no material thing can fill the emptiness our soul feels in separation from Krishna. And so sometimes the means we take to fill ourselves doesn't satisfy us, doesn't satisfy our soul. Now let's look at saintly persons. I'd just like to talk about Prabhupada a little bit as a saintly person. And he wasn't known as a saintly person when he was in India. He was a grihastra. He was, doing business most of his life. And Jai Shishi Gornitai, Shishi Radhavrindavan Chandra, Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. He was a grihastra, and he had to work very hard, making money, supporting his family. He would always, as much as possible, facilitate programs for his brahmachari godbrothers, and he was interested very much in the movement of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But he was really rather unknown, not really known as a saintly person. And when he did take the renounced order of life, still there are many renounced people in the renounced order, and he took the renounced order. He wasn't anybody well known. In fact, even in taking the renounced order and working to fulfill the request of his spiritual master to come to the West to share Krishna consciousness, he was pretty much by himself. Have any of you ever been to the 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗫 temple? Anybody? In Delhi, the 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗫 temple. It's a small little temple in the busy streets of Calcutta, kind of near the big palace, that big fort. Prabhupada stayed there for, I don't exactly know how long, a number of months, and he could barely afford the little rent of 5 rupees or something like that. He had to go out, he went out and distributed his little writings, and he distributed them and made a few rupees and paid for the little rent, and he was translating Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, translating, writing, typing by himself. He had a typewriter, typing, and he would put out Back to Godhead magazines. And he went to the printer, he brought the manuscripts, he had them printed. Sometimes he had to go out and find where the paper was, because there was a paper shortage. And he went out by himself, carried the paper by himself to the printer, and then after his writings were printed, he would go out and by himself distribute them, all by himself. And when he came to America by himself, of course he had Krishna and his spiritual master in his heart, but he came by himself. He had barely any money, just a trunk of Bhagavatams and a heart full of desire to fulfill the order of his spiritual master. Now, when he came to America, he was quite overwhelmed. Why have you brought me here, Krishna? But he was curious. You have brought me here. Okay, you have brought me here, Krishna. I don't know why you've brought me here. I don't know what you want me to do. What do I know? I don't even know anything about America. What do I know? If you want me to dance, you make me dance, Krishna. He was very, very open, very curious, very broad-minded. And he was by himself. He had no money. He had no position, status. He had no influence over anybody in America, really. And Prabhupada is the embodiment of empowerment. So sometimes we see people who are very powerful and influential. A lot of times they have money, they have influence, they have some prestige and some status. And Prabhupada had none of that. He was a saintly person, and he didn't even have ambition, really. He didn't have an ambition. He had a desire, but he didn't have ambition. And you can see here, this Python man obviously has no ambition. He's lying on the ground. He's not trying to make devotees. He's not trying to do anything. He's lying there and simply waiting to see what the Lord sends to him. And when the Lord sent Prahlad Maharaj, he was very excited to speak because he could see that Prahlad Maharaj was a qualified person. So the Python man had no desire no ambition to speak and share his wisdom. But he was very willing and open to share his wisdom when someone came and inquired from him. And similarly, Prabhupada was not ambitious. One time, just give a little story, there were some parents of devotees speaking with Srila Prabhupada in a garden, and they saw that their sons and daughters, or whatever, sons, had left school and had given up their material opulence. Some devotees were born in very aristocratic families. And they said to Prabhupada, you know, it seems like the devotees aren't ambitious. And Prabhupada said, no, a devotee is not ambitious. He's not ambitious at all. He's not ambitious. He simply wants to serve the Lord. What do you want, Krishna? What do you want? So Prabhupada was not ambitious. The Python man was not ambitious. And yet they were saintly and very powerful. So what was their power? What was their power? When we first come to Krishna consciousness, we are learning the steps of the rules and the regulations and the steps of the introduction to Krishna consciousness. And so we learn some of the rules and the regulations, and we come to the temple and we dance and chant. And so we're kind of doing Krishna consciousness. We're doing it. We're checking the boxes. I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, and I'm reading, and I'm hearing. We're doing Krishna consciousness. And that's a stage of Krishna consciousness, doing Krishna consciousness. And then we start to want a little more, and so maybe we get our own bead bag, and we have our own beads, and we put kantimala on, and maybe we even get deities and start worshiping the deities, and we feel like, oh, if I have Krishna in my house, I have Krishna, and I can have some Krishna consciousness if I have Krishna in my house. this Python man and Srila Prabhupada, when he came, they had nothing. They had really nothing. So what was it that distinguished them as a saintly person? Because they were being Krishna conscious. They were being Krishna conscious. Krishna consciousness is not about doing. In fact, we always say, well, we're not the doer. Krishna is the doer. We're not the doer. And yet, oftentimes, we're engaged in a lot of doing. There's nothing wrong with doing. Doing engages our mind. And doing is a part of Krishna consciousness, but it's not fully Krishna conscious. And sometimes we do certain things, we create things, we have deities, we think that we have Krishna consciousness, but actually we're not the possessor. Really, Krishna is the only possessor. The only thing that we really so what we do and what we have in this life, we can't take with us. What we do, maybe we build an empire, or maybe we build a house, or what we do and what we have, maybe we have money, or we have intelligence. What we do and what we have, we can't take with us when we leave this world. We can't take with us. It's insignificant in the scope of eternity of who we really are as a soul, as a part of Krishna. And actually, our biggest gift in coming to Krishna consciousness is that we want to work on our subtle body, because it's the subtle body that carries us, and we carry our subtle body. And so the subtle things that we can't see, the subtle things that we can't see in the Python man. He appears like a python, and he appears dirty, and he appears fat. But the subtle things that are carried deep inside, that's where we need to really develop our Krishna consciousness. Our attitudes, our beliefs, our subtle unconscious beliefs, we want to become aware of our desires, of all those subtle aspects which impact us at every moment of our life. We're being impacted. We're being impacted by the external energy. We're also being impacted by our mind, our false ego. We're being impacted by these things all the time. And sometimes we don't take the time to pay attention to those aspects. But those aspects are really the most powerful aspects that affect us. If you don't believe that the subtle is powerful, think about the Brahmastra weapon, right? It was just mantra. It was subtle. It was sound vibration, very subtle. But it had the power to potentially kill someone in the womb and not hurt the mother. So the subtle is very powerful. And the power of a saintly person is that a saintly person has spent time working on the inner world, working on the consciousness. Who we are is consciousness. The soul is consciousness, and it's 1/10,000th the tip of a hair, and yet it activates a body. It activates so many systems. It activates a mind. It activates the power of speech. Very, very, very powerful. So how can we come to that place, not power over, but empowerment from within? Prabhupada was amazingly powerful. How in 11 years, with nothing, how in 11 years did he create this movement? He was empowered from within. He was connected to Krishna from within. And he relished that inner world and that connection. He spent time alone, writing, reading, meditating, reflecting. And he experienced a lot in life, which came through his realizations. So how can we take time out of our busy lives and slow down on the doing and the having and spend more time on the being? How can we practice being Krishna conscious? We can practice one little habit at a time. And if we can't be the qualities that we want to be, we can be curious. What's obstructing me from being those qualities that a saintly person has? What is obstructing me from being Krishna conscious? And when we are curious and we ask those questions, Krishna, please show me what's covering me, what's preventing me, what's holding me back. And a lot of times we think something is holding us back, but a lot of times it's because in the background we're holding on to things that we can't see. We're holding on to things. And so please, Krishna, reveal to me what it is that I'm holding on. Reveal to me what it is that's inhibiting my inherent power that you have given me from being manifest. So a saintly person is not ambitious. He doesn't have to show anything. He doesn't even have to do anything. But just by his being, Prabhupada walked down the streets. Just by his being, people came up and asked him questions, and then they started helping. So how can we be Krishna conscious? This is a question we could ask ourselves every day. How can I be Krishna conscious today? So I want to give a little time for reflections and takeaways, challenges, or questions. So please, anyone? I don't know if I... Go ahead, 𝗦𝘂𝗵𝘃.
Hare Krishna. One reflection which I was having...
Speak a little loud, please.
Hare Krishna, yeah. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Thank you very much for a nice class. I was thinking this is about fat and all, how you're going to do, you connected it with Prabhupada. I mean, it was, made it quite spiritual. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, I was having concern in a social perspective that when fat, nowadays people go to America and come, but another person, he has reduced 20 kilos, then people talk and lot of questions to him. Then, you know, that kind of craze is there nowadays, that if you look thin, you know, you are like socially an icon, kind of.
An icon?
Yeah, a kind of inspiration, you can say like that. So people see thin people as disciplined and self-controlled people, something. But my thoughts about this is, sometimes some people's body, their kapha with
Kapha.
Pitta and Vata. Yeah, Vata bodies, sometimes they eat very less, but their body grows. But therefore, this term called body shaming or fat shaming has come, where, people unnecessarily harass others, like, you look like elephant or something like that. So, in that sense, so when this kind of, somebody's body is like that, so sometimes we can just quote Prabhupada said this in this purport, what are you, you are sense gratifier. Sometimes we may do that. So I'm just reflecting. And you can also put some thoughts on it that, sometimes it can be, it can be like we have to judge ourselves, I feel so, than judging others' discipline and based on their fat and other thing.
Exactly. And what do we know? I mean, this is a Python man. If we judge the Python man, he's a saintly person, What do we know who's inside that body and why they have that body? Why do they have that body? It could be they have a kapha body. Some people have thyroid problems. It's really not our job to judge another person. That's really a distraction from our real purpose of life. It's not our job to judge anyone. That's between Krishna and them. Krishna is the ultimate knower. He knows where a person's heart is. He's never judging by the external. He's always judging by the internal. So it's just a reminder for us. Don't misuse the scripture. Don't misuse the scripture to judge others. It's not our job to judge. It's really not. It's not our job to even judge ourselves. It is our job to be conscious and to practice being conscious. What am I doing that's perpetuating my stay in this world? And I'll tell you, judgment will perpetuate your stay in this world. Judgment and shaming will perpetuate the stay in this world because Prabhupada didn't judge and he didn't shame people. He only encouraged people. One of my favorite stories is when some sannyasis and temple presidents were walking and they were complaining to Prabhupada, this one that, this one this. Prabhupada turned around and pointed his cane and he said, I have only come to encourage and you are simply discouraging. And he said it again. You are simply discouraging one another, and I have only come to encourage. And he turned around and kept walking. And everybody freaked out. Oh my gosh, Prabhu, I'm sorry, please forgive me. It's not our job to judge. We can have a conversation with the person and say, I'm not sure if what you're doing is helping, or I'm seeing something and I'm a little concerned. We could have a conversation with the person. And be curious, like Prahlad Maharaj. He's having a conversation. My dear Python man, I'm really curious. Can you enlighten me? And please, in the next verse he says, if this is not an impudent question, please reveal to me what's going on here. So we can ask questions respectfully and have concerns. But it's not our job to judge or discourage others. That's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, and Prabhupada also told one of the sannyasi to increase his weight for some reason.
Exactly. So what do we know? It's not our job to judge. It's our job to practice being conscious. And there's so much to be conscious of. Please, I can't see anybody's hands, so please, go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
There we go.
Mataji, you were mentioning about Srila Prabhupada. He had desires. He was not ambitious. So can you explain being ambitious? Because we see that Prabhupada, for the service of Krishna, he said many things like double the book score and...
Yes.
So please explain this being ambitious.
Ambitious is having an expectation to make something happen. Now, desire is coming from deep inside. Ambitious is wanting to show something. ambitious. I'm ambitious. And he did say over endeavor, you know, in the I guess it's the nectar of instruction, over endeavoring for things that are difficult to attain. So the difference between desire and ambition is the motivation. What do you want from this? Do you want profit, adoration, distinction? Do you want followers? What do you want from this? What are you expecting from this? Ambitious generally has some motivations behind it, that you want something for yourself. I'm ambitious and I'm trying to make something happen for myself. Prabhupada wanted to serve Krishna. He wanted to serve his spiritual master, and he didn't know how to do that, but he knew that he was getting old. He knew that he didn't have much time. He did sometimes put a little pressure on. We got to finish this Chaitanya Charitamrita. But that wasn't coming from a place of ambitious. It was coming from a place of, I think we need to speed things up here just a little bit, because I'm not going to be here for a long time. And I want to complete these. He wanted to have some completion before he left this world. And so, really, our life is about preparing for our death. It's preparing our consciousness for our death. And Prabhupada had a life of preparation. He was preparing. So, can you see the difference now between ambitious? There's another. Oh, let's take a Mataji. We have a Mataji over here. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. You talked about judging. That reminds me of the Judgment Day.
That what?
That reminds me of the Judgment Day.
I can't hear. What?
You talked about judging.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the Judgment Day.
Oh, judging reminds you of the Judgment Day?
Yes, that
Okay.
is going to be the last day of your life, right?
Yeah, I don't like to use the word Judgment Day. But
Okay.
anyway, go ahead. The last day of your life, go ahead.
So I think for the devotee, the Judgment Day is like an open gate to Bhagavatam.
The judgment can open the gate to...
For the devotee, the Judgment Day is like an open door towards Bhagavatam.
The open door
To Bhagavatam.
to Bhagavatam.
I think a devotee waits for that.
The devotee prays for judgment,
The devotee waits for that.
waits for that.
Yes. Because that is an open gate towards Bhagavatam for the devotee.
It certainly can be, and at the same time, every day is an open day for us to be. We don't have to wait until the time of our death for that. We can actually use every moment of every day as a day assessing. If this were my last day, would there be something I would want to do? If this were my last day, would there be something I would want to complete? And so when we have the consciousness that any day could be my last day, we might have a tendency to be more conscious and excited for each day, that each day has me stepping up to understand that I want to offer my best. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
I think I'm waiting for my last day.
Okay, well, today, this is the last day we have today, and tomorrow is a new day. Tomorrow is a new day. So each day we can see, if this were my last day, would there be anything else I might want to say or do or complete?
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. There's one more question over there. And then...
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Samarpan Goprabhu is on phone call.
Okay.
And he wanted to ask directly.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu, can you speak?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Am I audible?
Okay.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I'm very grateful to you, Mataji, for such wonderful description of Srila Prabhupada's. He was not known as saintly, because rather he was saintly all throughout. No one knew him like that, for so many years, and he was just on his own. I deeply appreciate the statement which you made, that what is the power of such saintly person is that it is his time and energy he is spending for his inner world, consciousness and etc. So thank you very much for that, Mataji.
Hare
So
Krishna.
my reflection or question is half asked by Prabhuji very nicely about Prabhupada saying, chasing the rhinoceros, and also I got some idea about Srila Prabhupada's being ambitious, appearing ambitious, and why. So my question is, Mataji, it is that when we are awarded or expected to have services where control is involved, where we have things in our power and influence, where we can control people, where we can control property, we can control resources. So while every person, every servant has that kind of control, of course lesser and more it will be different. The resources and the people and everything else. So when we are having control, how to be actually curious, because we want to get things done for Krishna.
Yes.
So how do we do this both?
Thank you. Thank you. That's a great question, and it's something we have to reflect upon each day. So Prabhupada's empowerment came from his dependence on Krishna. He was always depending on Krishna. He was really always asking, what do you want? What do you want from me? Why have you brought me here? What do you want? Shall we do this? Shall we do that? He was curious. He was open-minded. He tried different things. So how can we be curious when we have power and we have a lot of control and we're managing people and properties? How can we work on that inner empowerment? It really takes a step back. I think prayer is an important part. Okay, Krishna, you've given me this power. Please help me not get carried away with this power and think this power is the goal. Please help me to not misuse this power. Please help me to use this power for what you want it to be used for. And if somehow what I'm doing doesn't work out the way I wished it was or the way I expected it to, please help me to understand that you are the doer and the controller, and that's how you wanted it to work out. Please help me to be not attached to what it is that I want, but to be open and curious, what do you want? And that's going to take really some reflection and some prayer. And it also means that even if we do something and it doesn't work out, it doesn't mean that we're bad. It just could mean Krishna doesn't want us to go in that direction for some reason. He doesn't want us to go in that direction. And so really being able to be in the flow of life and see what is Krishna sending. And sometimes we get confused. We think, well, is Krishna just sending me a test and wanting me to push harder? Or is Krishna, telling me to stop? How do we know the answer? We got to really, really want to know. Because if we don't want to know the answer, we won't get the answer. If we have an attachment to either side, if we really want it to be like this, that means we're not open to hearing Krishna. and that means we might over-endeavor. So just really, really deeply wanting to know, what do you want, Krishna? What do you want? And then examining, am I attached in either way? Well, yeah, I am kind of attached. I really want this to happen. One time, I'll just give you one little story. One time, we were working on remortgaging the building in New York. And we had bought the building on Janmashtami, and it looked like the remortgaging was going to happen on Janmashtami. And I was excited that it was going to happen on Janmashtami. And then the lawyers called and they said, oh, there's this and that, and you know, we don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, which was Janmashtami. And I said, well, is there anything I can do? Can I bring you the papers? I'll drive the papers over there. I'll bring them to you. They said, well, you can bring the papers over. We don't think it's going to happen anyway, but you can bring them over, you know. And so I was going over, and on the way over, I made up a song, you are the potter and I am the clay. And I did ask Krishna, come on, Krishna, why don't you want this to happen on your birthday? That would be so nice. And then I said, and you are the potter and I am the clay, so whatever you decide, I'll go with that. And it happened on his birthday. So we really have to really let go of the attachment. Even though I was attached, I said, whatever you want. And that's a real conscious thing that we have to do. We have to be able to let go of our attachment, the way we want things to happen, and then see. That really allows space for Krishna to do what he wants to do. I don't know, did that answer your question, Prabhu? Yes? What was that? Okay. I'm conscious of the time. Are we supposed to stop at 9? Is that?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. I'm
Is
conscious.
there any other thing, or can I ask something, clarification?
I don't know. Do you tell me what time we're supposed to stop? I want to respect everybody's time.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
No, who's the boss here? Who's going to tell me what time to stop? I'm sorry?
I can ask?
Somebody who's in charge, let him know I'm not in charge.
Oh, very nice. Let them ask.
Who's? Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for the wonderful class. I just want to ask, I have too much material desires, so it's very difficult to go in Krishna's way, how Krishna wants it, and I want it to go my way.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult to go on Krishna's way. So what should I do that I can convince my mind?
We always start right where we are. Whether we have all material desires or no material desires, we approach Krishna. And we start with the desire which we're least attached to, and pray to Krishna, how can I let go of this? Why am I attached to this? Sometimes we're attached to things because we didn't have things when we were young. And sometimes it's an unconscious emotional attachment to something. Even culturally, India used to be a poor country, a third world country. And so, you know, the image of India was skinny, poor people. You know, but now India is like right up there with everybody else. And I notice there's a lot more people who have weight on them, because when you haven't had, sometimes you grasp for something because you're starving for it. We really want to look inside. There's something that's really starving, and it's our soul. Our soul is starving for connection with Krishna. And so if we can understand our material desire and not beat ourselves up for having material desires, but one by one examining them. Can I practice letting go of this? Can I let go of it for a couple of days? Can I turn off my cell phone for 24 hours and not have anything to do with it? Just practice letting go. That practicing letting go helps us to exercise the muscles of letting go, little by little by little, little by little by little. And do not beat yourself up, because when we shame ourselves, we hurt more, and when we hurt more, we grasp more. Does that make sense?
Yes, Mataji. And regarding the starvation for Krishna, so like prasadam is there and then friends and everything, it feels normal. So we don't feel starvation for Krishna. At least I don't feel so.
No, you really do, but you just are not in touch with it. Any starvation you have out here, anything you want out here, you're trying to fulfill your God-shaped hole in your heart. Everyone has a God-shaped hole in their heart. You're trying to fill that hole with doing and having. Doing and having. I'm trying to fill my hole. We can't fill the hole. The hole is the pain of separation. The hole is the grief that we feel, not knowing who we are, not being with Krishna. You can't fill a hole of grief. You only can heal it by being with it and by sometimes crying and chanting. When will I have tears in my eyes? I have no tears in my eyes. When will that day be mine? We start where we are, we take one step at a time, and we don't count the seconds. We focus on this moment right now. What can I do now? Not, oh my gosh, I have so far to go. That's not going to encourage me. We focus on the next step. If I have a field of weeds from here to the end of the temple, I might think, oh my gosh, it's so overwhelming, I give up already, right? But if I just focus right in front of my eyes, what's in front of my eyes? Okay, let me just pull these weeds and pull these weeds and pull these weeds and just work where I am and keep working and working. You know, after a while I might look back, oh my gosh, wow, look how far I came. But if we look at how far away we think we are, we might not even start. So start where you are, take one day at a time, and be grateful for the weeds that you can pull today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, this is one question from 𝗠𝘁𝗷𝗵. He is asking, what is the role of guidance from devotees? What is the role of guidance from devotees in our life?
What is the role of guidance from devotees? Well, devotees know what they know by the experiences they've had in their lives. And so different devotees have had different experiences. And they may speak to us from the wisdom they've gained from their experiences. However, not everybody has the same experiences in life, and not everyone has the same type of life. And so, in specific areas, we may not be able to give exact guidance. So guidance from devotees can be sometimes more general, like praying to Krishna, taking one step at a time. I can't tell you what the next step to take is. However, you can know where you are, and you can know maybe what is the next step in front of you. And you can certainly, you have the freedom to ask Krishna, what is my next step? So guidance from devotees can be more like overarching, like in general, what can you do? Or if you want to say something specific, well, this has helped me, maybe it will help you, I don't know. However, if we're guiding people with this is exactly what you should do, we want to be careful about that. It's not that I've never done that or I don't do that. We just want to be careful about doing that too much, because a person may or may not be able to do that. And we want to give them the space to be able to take a step that they can take. If a child is just learning to walk and I try to make them run, they are going to fall and I might end up dragging them and hurt them. So we each need to find what works for us. And guidance comes what I've learned from my experience, what I see, maybe what I've practiced, what works for me. And, you know, you can assess what works for you and what doesn't work for you. That's why Rupa Goswami said, we accept what's favorable and we reject what's unfavorable. Because what's favorable for me may not be favorable for you. And what's favorable for me today may not be favorable for me tomorrow. So it's a constant asking the question, what's favorable today? What's my next step today? I don't know, was that helpful? What do I know? Anyway, I think we've extended our time, and I know you all have a lot of services to do, so thank you so much for your time, for your attention, for your being in this process of Krishna consciousness, this very challenging life as a soul in a human machine. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to one another. It's an honorable journey, and it is a very challenging journey. So be kind and encourage one another. Thank you very much. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srimad Bhagavatam. All glories to the assembled devotees. Vancha kalpachubhyascha kripa sindhibhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna. We'd like to heartily thank Hare 𝐒𝐫𝐢𝐸𝐵 for her very wonderful guidance, seminars, classes she offered here for all the devotees. And the 3-session seminar was also very deep and well attended by the devotees. And then the Bhagavatam class here as well as in the camp temple. Somehow Krishna arranged for verses also which were very appropriate for Mataji to speak. And she has gained a lot of maturity and wisdom by being in this society for the last 51 years. 1975 she got initiated. And she has gone through a diversity of, variety of situations, interactions with ISKCON leaderships, and change within our society in so many different ways. So that has made her very wise, and she shared her ripened wisdom with all of us. In a nutshell, by being kind to ourselves, being introspective, reflective, and taking one step at a time, starting now the very vital lessons which she has been repeating in the multiple sessions. So we may not have our association in future because as of now she's planning to be in US more. We don't know when she will be again here. So it's one of the perhaps the last days in India or in Pune. And she'll be going tomorrow to Delhi for Barsana camp, and then further she'll move on. So we're very grateful, Mataji, for being here and guiding us. And she's very open, very much available for meeting individuals also, because many times we are not able to get full clarification or answer in the class. You can meet her personally also by taking an appointment. And it's our great joy. Actually, there's a wealth of life to have the association of those devotees who have practiced and experienced Krishna consciousness and have actually, lived in the society in varieties of situations. They can really help us and guide us to move ahead in a very safe way. So we thank Mataji to be here at Pune and really inspiring us, encouraging us, enlivening us by her talks, and not only talk, but by her personal conduct and personal association also. So let us thank her by once loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Sukha Mataji ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki. Any books are left, Mataji, or all over? Okay. Thank you.
Website, 𝐒𝐫𝐢𝐦𝐚𝐝.com, and all my books are there in Kindle version and audio version. So if anybody wants to get my books there, that works. If you need a paperback version, you can get, I think, Golden Age Media. They do print on demand, so they're kind of expensive, but you can get